Hello and welcome back to the Kenshatori channel. Now in our first episode we introduced you to the weekender system, and a few people have been writing in asking how much can we actually store inside the weekender system. So although we've discussed litre capacity and that sort of thing for each of the cabinets, today what I'm going to do is show you an example of what we can store in here for two people going away for a week, let's say. And that will include our luggage, our equipment, spare parts, tools, and that sort of thing. So let's go and take a look. Okay, so what we have here are our two week-long suitcases. Now they each hold about 42 litres each. And then we've got two sleeping bags that you can put together as a double sleeping bag. And then all the rest of our equipment that we take, you know, our crockery, our cutlery, our utensils, pots, pans, tools, and that sort of thing are already in the cabinets. And I'll take those out shortly for you to have a look at what we can actually put in the system. But for now, take a look at what we've actually packed in our cases. Okay, now to start with, this is everything I've taken out of the stubby box over here. So I've got my spanner set, I've got my odd bits and pieces set of tools, I've got my screwdriver set, I've got my small ratchet set, I've got some fixings, random screws, self-tappers, that kind of thing, tape measure, ratchet straps, and some other spare bits and pieces in the plastic bags. And all of that fits quite nicely into the stubby box. I'll show you now. So there we have it, 21 litres of stubby box storage space and a good set of tools, but you can use that for absolutely anything you want to. Okay, so next up is what have I got in here already. Now, I'll open up the cabinets, I'll get it all down on here, we'll take a look. Right, okay, so I've just emptied out the tool boy, and this is what I pretty much keep in the car at all times. So I've got, over here, I've got my bag with my pots, pans, and utensils. I've got some jump leads, I've got a single gas burner stove. In fact, I've got another single gas burner stove here. I've got my kettle, a torch, my fry pan oven, 3 LED lights, binoculars, some spare gas. I've got a blanket and a tarp over there, and then a picnic rug. I've got my 5-ton hydraulic bottle jack, and then between my washing bowl and drainer, I've actually got some blue kitchen rolls, some tin foil, some cling film. And then over here, I've got some various little bits and pieces, tea towels, peg box, that sort of thing. Oh, and my two warning triangles. So this was just all thrown in to this tool boy. So I'm gonna put it back now in a bit more of a tidy and logical order. Okay, so what we've got in our wheel arch cabinet, which is about 68 litres, plus a little bit more in the wall of your wheel arch. I've got a sink drainer, I've got a collapsible sink, I've got a single gas burner, a hand brush, I've got a picnic rug, a 3 metre by 3 metre tarp, a nice warm blanket. I've got 6 spare gas canisters. I've got my jump leads, I've got my jack, I've got a 300-watt inverter and a pair of binoculars in there, plus my warning triangles as well, and a bit of rope that I've tucked in at the back. In this cabinet, which is 48 litres, I have another gas burner, and then I have all of my cooking utensils, pots and pans and that sort of thing, and my kettle. And there's still a bit of room left in there. In this cabinet is still empty. I haven't used anything in there. So that's 48 litres, which is more than what I have in one of those suitcases I showed you earlier. And then up in the top, I've got my tin foil, my cling film, my kitchen roll, box of tissues. And then up in the top, I've put hats, gloves, laundry, tablets, roll of black bin liners, box of pegs, torch, tea towel, 3 LED lights. And there's still room up there for more. And in this cabinet, at the moment, I've got 3 tins of food goods, 2 pot noodles, packet of rice, and a packet of pasta. So that gives you some idea about what we're storing. And we haven't even gone into the general stores box, and that's 120 litres. Let's take a look with all the luggage inside. Okay, so I've got my case up here. So I've got the biggest stuff. So if we just have a quick look. So I've got a waterproof, I've got some flip-flops, I've got a pair of boots and a pair of trainers. And I've got another picnic or beach blanket. And I got my wash bag. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of one of the dividers. That's my t-shirts for a week. That's 2 pairs of jeans and a pair of shorts. And then I have underwear for a week, socks for a week. And then in here I've got some fleeces and a windproof jacket. Now that is all of my gear, plus my wash bag. And then I'm going to put my boots in here and my trainers and my flip-flops. And for good measure, I'm actually going to put that inside the tool boy. And then I've got my waterproof that I can just lay on top of my shoes there. And that is everything that I need for a week at least, plus some. And that still leaves me with all of this space here to put the other case, or I can be kind and make it a lot easier for Liz to grab her stuff from in here. Let's grab the other case. So that's one case down, and then the next one be another waterproof, another pair of trainers, one flip-flop, don't know where the other one's gone, another pair of boots, and then all the other bits and pieces. Oh, there's the other flip-flop. So I'm going to go for this cabinet. So put a wash bag in there, so that's easy to get out. And then we've got a week of underwear and socks. Oh, more under, well, don't know what that is, but it's another bag. And then we've got some tops and some trousers, that sort of thing that can go in up there. And then we've got, there's the socks, they can go in there. And then we've got some more fleeces and such, and that will actually go up in there. And then there is some more tops and some more trousers. And they will actually fit in there. So that is another suitcase there, almost. And then if we just move that out of the way, and then we've got the rest of this cabinet to put Liz's footwear in. So there's her boots, there's her trainers, there's her flip-flops, there's a waterproof. And there's still room left in there. So as you can see, there's ample room, especially when you have the general stores box. Now, if you had the fridge box, you still have around about 42 litres at the end of the fridge that you could use for storing. So all of my clothes that I've got in here, if that was replaced with the fridge, I could just have all of my things in a bag or a container and pop them at the front of the fridge box. And then all my smaller things I could put in the trough of the fridge box. So even with that big sliding fridge, there's still ample of room to put all your gear. Another option to think about is getting a molly panel for your rear door. Now, I bought this one from Alpine Coast, who are based down in Devon. And the reason I went for this one, it is such great quality. The powder coating is brilliant. It's very easy to put on. You get all the fittings that you need. And I've just dumped on some ex-military pouches. I've got my fire extinguisher, I've got all my washing stuff here, I've got my cutlery here, I've got some coffee cups here, I've got additional first aid in here, toilet roll, and then inside this bag here I've got my plates, my bowls, and some other bits and pieces. So again, a molly panel is a great idea to add on, but I would sincerely check out Alpine Coast. Not only do they do the rear molly panels, but they do molly panels for the inside and the outside of your Defender. Take a look. I believe they're alpinecoast.online. Okay, so we've seen what we can fit inside the Weekender system. Now, I've removed all the cushions just so to give us a bit more space and to show you what I've packed into here. So just going to put these back a moment. There. So for two people traveling, there's plenty of room in here for you, and there's plenty of storage options. Now, if you're family or if you're away with friends and there's 4 or 5 of you in the car and you need to seat some people down here, you may have a roof tent or a ground tent. What you can do is when you're traveling, obviously your seats will be in the upright position. Like so. So you are limited with storage for 4 or 5 people, but when you're traveling, it's all here. So if each of your passengers has a suitcase or a bag and their bedding, they can put that here. And then when you're ready to camp out of the night, you fold your seats forward. Drop down your bed panels. And then what you've got is underneath here, where your seats were, is a cavern of storage space. So all those bags can go there. If you've got an ice box or a fridge, it can go up here. And there's still room for 2 or 3 small people, or at least 2 grown adults here, and then you've got your roof tent up there or your ground tent for all the others. So plenty of room. And then all those bags that you've been storing in here can just go in here. Because there's got to be 100, 120, 30, 40 litres of space down there. All accessible from the outside or from the inside. So anyway, I hope that's given you a good idea about what you can actually store inside the system and the other options you have if there are more than just 2 of you. So until the next time, I'll see you then.